Hello, my name is Diane Riemann. I am the president of MajorDonors.com, which helps small to mid-sized nonprofits build their revenues from individual donors. In 2018, we were retained by INN to run their major gift cohort, and then thereafter to be the well screening coach. So here I am. I'm going to share my screen now, and as I do so, I want to say we recognize how much data is coming through on the screening. And if you haven't seen one before, it can be quite overwhelming. And that's why we've created this video. We also want to remind you that although the data comes from the public domain, all of it, when we put it together, it is quite something. And we do advise that you keep it securely stashed and not email it about. With that said, now on to our little tour. These are the questions that I get asked most often and the sections that I review when I go through the well screening. I'm going to start in the blue area, which is the charitable giving and political giving, because the charitable giving data requires the most explanation. Let me start here, somewhat in the middle, with largest gift found lower range. Lower range. Why is there a lower range? What is that all about? Well, there is no central repository, and so that means companies like Donor Search are compiling data from wherever they can find it, meaning donor giving. And annual reports are a frequent source. And in annual reports, what do we see? We see those ranges, right? Donors giving 5,000 to 9,999, etc. Yes, there's an upper range. I've hidden a lot of columns, including that one, lower range, most conservative. If we go here to the left, we see total of likely charitable matches. So these are the gifts in totality that Donor Search found in relation to your donor. So they think. What do I mean? Well, there is no address match to charitable giving. So yes, you will be looking at Elizabeth's last name when on your actual list, but the question is, do these $610,000 belong to your Elizabeth? The less common the name, the more likely. Sometimes we can never figure it out. Sometimes when we have context, we can. In this case, we can see that Elizabeth has given your newsroom $50,000 because these yellow numbers, this is the data that a newsroom supplied. So it makes sense here to see this kind of data for Elizabeth. Additionally, if we look at real estate, she's sitting on almost $8 million of real estate. Okay, story makes sense. For some people, it's really going to be a challenge to figure it out. Donor Search tries to give you their own sense of how confident they are that the data you're looking at does go to your donor through the purple section in the middle, the quality score. This range runs up to 25. We hardly ever see above 20. And I have actually red flagged when the scores drop below 18, meaning 20 grains of salt, that the charitable data in particular that you're looking at belongs to your particular Christie, let's say. Political giving, by contrast, comes from FEC.com. We can assume that it's going to be in the correct ballpark. You see some numbers highlighted, some not under political giving. That's because we know political giving is an indicator of being philanthropic in general. The question is, at what level is political giving, and this is just cumulatively on FEC.com, an indicator that your donor can actually make a major gift, a gift of $5,000, $10,000 or more. There's some research that suggests $60,000. I use $100,000 as the cutoff, which is why you see anyone giving above $100,000 highlighted to help you with prioritization. The other number in this charitable section is foundation assets. And so here we see Sophia potentially associated with a foundation, same situation as with charitable giving. If you do have a donor search subscription, you can see what the foundation is, and you can see what role Sophia has, because the question is Sophia a decision maker? And what role does she have within the foundation, assuming it is her? In her case, if we continue the story, we do see that she is sitting on almost $2.8 million of real estate. And then we come to this SEC stock value column, and we see she has almost $9.6 million of stock. So this stock value is not your portfolio, not my portfolio. These are people who are on the boards or officers of publicly held companies required to report their holdings. What does that mean? It means that they absolutely have financial horsepower. And so it's a question of how much do they prioritize the work that your newsroom is doing. Yes, the yellow zone again is the data you've provided. If I come back over here to the purple zone, I see recency, frequency, money, RFM. This is an engagement surrogate based on, again, recency of giving, frequency of giving, how much. I often use it as a second tier prioritization. If you had a long list of people prioritized and you wanted to narrow them down, you might use this surrogate engagement score as a way to do that. And now I move into DS rating. This is the donor search rating system. DS1-1 means donor search believes this person made a gift of $5,000 or more to some nonprofit. That's all it means. It's not saying anything about their financial capability. DS1-2 means donor search did not find a gift of $5,000 or more, which again does not mean that they haven't made a whole lot of gifts, just donor search didn't find them, but they have strong financial indicators. And then it goes down from there, DS1-3, less strong financial indicators, DS1-4, DS1-5. So how does it come to pass that we have Christy rated at DS1-5, who we see is giving your or this newsroom $1,000? And the answer is that the DS ratings are skewed by assets and real estate in particular. So often when there's no real estate value, which can be for all kinds of reasons, the donor search rating is lower, even though the donor not only has capacity, may have given your newsroom significant gifts already. And that's why I don't just sort by donor search rating, but really rather look at the data points specifically. When we look at the names, green means that these are the people who've given you $1,000 or more. We don't want you to lose sight of these donors, no matter what their donor search rating is. The orange people are what we call the hidden gems. These are the people giving you less than $1,000 who appear to have the ability to make much larger gifts, again, if they prioritize your work. So we see Thomas as a classic example where he's giving this newsroom $250. He has very strong political giving, $371,000. We can see then the largest gift found lower range of $25,000 certainly makes sense. He also is real estate holdings of $4 million. So when we put the Thomas story all together, we say, yes, Thomas appears to definitely have the ability to become a major donor if he will prioritize the work the newsroom is doing. That's how we use this data. I don't want to take too long on this tour. You're welcome to sign up for a coaching session with me. Link is included in your wealth screening results. My email, if you want to reach out directly, is wealthscreening@inn.com. newsrooms.org. I wish you well with your fundraising and thank you for what you do for your newsroom and its reporting.